Welcome back, Planeswalkers. You know, if you want to decrease your debt, you should definitely be a little bit more punctual. Now, we're discussing the matter of MTG Arena, I believe. I do hope that you went over to flipsidegaming.com and used promo code 6. It gives you 10% off on orders over $10. It's a good deal for both you and me. Now, today, we will be continuing our Guild Mechanics series with the upgraded version of Afterlife. This information, of course, does not come free. I will require a payment of watching this video. I would also like if you guys click the like button and give me a comment, because I like those. Anyway, that was trying to be like a weird Orzhovian businessman. I'm going to try and continue the voices with these upgraded gilded decks. Now, we're going to hop right into it. Just similar to the last one, the budget version, this focuses on having your creatures be something that you don't care about dying, and sometimes having your creatures actively die. With the rares, as you can probably see, actually, does it tell you rares? It doesn't. That's unfortunate. We have a lot of them. The rares really do up the oomph of this deck. So, we're running a decent number of things that we actively kind of want to die. We are running 4 Tithe Takers. It's a 2-1 with Afterlife 1, which is, a decent rate. But additionally, during your turn, spells your opponents cast cost 1 additional to cast, and their activated abilities cost 1 additional. Now, the area where this is most important is against counterspells and removal spells. Because very often your opponent may not remember this creature's effect. I believe in Arena it does show you that increased cost, but they're not going to be necessarily paying attention to that. They're so used to passing with a certain exact amount of mana open to cast their removal spell or cast their counterspell that they're likely at least once over the course of you playing this game, playing this deck, I should say, they're going to mess that up, and they're going to have like a squelch, the 2 mana blue counterspell. I have no idea what the dang name is. And they're going to say, I have 2 mana up. And then you're going to cast something, and they're going to be trying to cast their counterspell, and you're going to be like, ha ha ha, get shreked. We are running 3 Orzhov Enforcers. This card really did surprise me in how effective it was, both in my budget version and my Death Touch tribal deck. The Death Touch is helpful. The fact that your opponents are either not going to want to block with their creature, so you can, start pinging them in, or that this can trade up so high makes this card fantastic. That said, it is slightly less than Tithe Taker, because I do believe Tithe Taker is a little bit more valuable with the fact that it is a 2-power creature. But Orzhov Enforcer, definitely don't sleep on this card. 3 Ministrant of Obligations, probably the most efficient and effective Afterlife creature early, because it functionally doesn't lose you anything. When this dies, you get 2 power and technically 2 toughness across 2 bodies. You're getting a decent rate, frankly. Being able to have a 3 mana creature that is a 2-1 and 2 1/1s is great. And of course, we don't care if this dies. Then we get on into our kind of value-oriented, card draw-esque effects in the deck that takes advantage of stuff dying. So we have Priest of Forgotten Gods. This card is essentially a strict upgrade from she's in here somewhere, Pitiless Pontiff, because you get something extra, right? Pitiless Pontiff does gain Death Touch and Indestructible, which is nice, but being able to force your opponent to sack a creature and have them lose 2 life, and the fact that you're drawing a card and adding mana, means that you're getting so much value out of cards that you either don't mind dying because they're going to have Afterlife, or you're just getting rid of tokens from those afterlife creatures. This has been helpful at ending your, finishing your opponent off. Maybe they're at 5, you have 3 tokens in the air, you crack in for 3, you sack them, killing your opponent. This has been fantastic for dealing with individual creatures. So, if your opponent has some pesky single large creature, get rid of it. This also comes in handy if you just need to find more cards. If you're, stagnating on not getting your later game cards, this helps you out with that, which is very nice. Costly Plunder is an instant that lets us draw 2 cards. And since we don't care about the majority of our creatures dying, because we get an extra benefit out of it, this card is really nice to play, especially considering you can play it in response to removal. So if you have access to extra mana, maybe you're holding up Mortify and Costly Plunder, If they don't play something to Mortify, but they still target one of your important creatures, maybe with like a lava coil or something like that, you can, you're going to lose that creature anyway, and you're not necessarily going to get the dying effect. Costly Plunder. You drew some cards, you blanked one of your opponent's removal spells, and it's just really helpful. Midnight Reaper, stuff's going to die in this deck. We draw cards and gain a life because of it. Very, very helpful. Of course, against aggro, the life loss is a little bit tricky, but our aggro matchup seems to be decent because the sheer amount of annoying blockers that we have. We have a little bit of life gain with things like Kaya's Wrath, Teysa, and Elenda, but for the most part, this card is just value on a stick. Now I get to what I like to call the Orzhov girls, because they're all 4 mana and are Orzhov. So these are the Orzhov girls. We're running 3 Seraph of the Scales because I do believe that she is kind of just the best card on 4, and I want to maximize the amount of what is, in my opinion, the best card on 4, while still being able to play the other 2. Her ability to gain vigilance is very helpful. The Death Touch doesn't matter as much because she is 4 power, but if your opponent does have, something larger than that, you can give her Death Touch and kill that. And since she has Afterlife too, we don't mind her dying. Then we have 2 Elendas. This card is very decent in certain circumstances. Against red, typically, they'll burn the crap out of this. But, at least you save some life in that scenario. But, in the mid-range games is where this card really shines. Since your opponent needs to have target removal, or if they don't, you're going to be able to get a large amount of value on just any of your creatures dying. And then, again, when she dies, you get a scaling number of tokens. And those tokens have lifelink, which is very, very helpful. I do think that she does require you to some extent to be not necessarily ahead, but have a presence on board, and that does lead to her not being great in all situations, which is why she's at 2. Very similarly, Teysa requires you to have kind of a good board, but she gives your creature tokens vigilance and lifelink, which is important with Divine Visitation as well. But if a creature dies and causes something to trigger, you get double those triggers. So if any of your Afterlife creatures die, you get double the number of Afterlife cards. If you have Midnight Reaper on the field and something dies, you draw 2 cards. You do lose 2 life, but still you draw 2 cards. And if Elenda is on the field, either she's the one who dies, you get double the amount of tokens, or if another creature dies, you get double the amount of counters. So she's a very synergistic card with the deck, but the fact that she is quote-unquote only a 2/4, and she does need you to have some sort of board presence already, does make it so I only want to run 2 of her. Then, of course, we get to our removal suite. We're running 2 Mortifies because we need to destroy creatures, and we need to destroy enchantments. The number of good enchantments that are currently being played is really high, and Mortify does allow us to destroy things like Conclave Tribunal or Ixalan's Binding, which can happen against us. We are running Conclave Tribunal instead of Ixalan's Binding because of the fact that we are going to be able to tap our creatures to pay for it, and that's essentially the only thing. And this usually is going to start targeting, artifacts or planeswalkers. So, if your opponent plays like an Immortal Sun, you just don't want them drawing the extra cards or having their creatures be extra large. And of course, you want to get rid of planeswalkers. Kaya's Wrath is so good because we really, really don't care about our creatures dying. We get to, for example, play Tithe Taker, Ministrant of Obligation. If our opponent somehow has just vomited on the board, maybe they went first and they went History Benalia or something like that, or like History Benalia into Heroic Reinforcements. We can destroy their board, gain 2 life, which, is not nothing, but it's not negligent, and have 3 creatures already to block whatever else they have. So Kaya's Wrath, very valuable. I would suggest running like 2 on the sideboard even, for matchups where it's going to be a grind. Then, of course, we get to the creme de la creme, our top-end enchantments. 2 Divine Visitation, 2 Ethereal Absolution. Divine Visitation I definitely wanted in the deck because of the amount of tokens we make. And Ethereal Absolution I wanted in the deck because I like the card. So Divine Visitation, if you make a creature token, they become 4/4 with Vigilance. And they fly. That's real good. If you have Teysa on board, they have lifelink as well as, they have double Vigilance, but they get lifelink. That's real nice. Ethereal Absolution. It shrinks. It's a total value of essentially +2/+2 because you're shrinking your opponent's creatures and buffing yours. But it's better than that because if your opponents play X1 cards, creatures with 1 toughness, they just die. They get their enter battlefield ability, but they just die. It's real nice. And then you get to exile cards. It doesn't have to be a creature. You can exile any card from your opponent's graveyard, and you get a 1/1 flyer, technically a 2/2 flyer, if it was a creature card. So this hoses the Golgari graveyard decks. This hoses any deck that really cares about having things in the graveyard. It's helpful against Drakes. I do think against Drakes it is a little bit slow, but it is helpful against Drakes. It's helpful against any jumpstart card in your control opponent's decks. So it's very, very nice. This is our mana base. We're relatively even on white and black. We do have more black early on than white, but we want to make sure we have our access to white. So I split them kind of even. But we do have 2 Memorial to Follies and 2 Memorial to Glory. Memorial to Folly, very helpful with like Divine Visitation, helpful at just kind of putting out surprise blockers or surprise cards that can help you end the game. And Memorial to Folly, of course, is helpful for getting essentially the Forzov girls back, because they get targeted with removal real fast. What? Gosh, how long have I been talking? Ah, it's so long. I will talk about the sideboard at the end of the video. I've been talking too long. The deck is a ton of fun. I will say that against hard control, it's a little difficult to win because our creatures are very small. So it takes us a bit of time in order to have our opponents like actually start, feeling pressured. So that is one thing to consider. Also, I hate this game. Why are you closed? I want to play. Why are you closed? Why does my internet suck? I need to contact my service provider and see if there's a way to wire in some Ethernet. Because my router's on the first floor. I'm on the second floor. Thank you. And I don't really have an Ethernet thing up here, so... Definitely a bit of a slow hand, but it's decent. We have a nice comes into play tap land, potentially another comes into play tap land, and we have, Midnight Reaper into some form of removal or Elenda, so I think this is definitely a reasonable hand. It sucks that we're going second with it, because it makes it technically even slower, but we do have a chance to draw. So, hopefully, our opponent's not... Oh, crap. So, I assume that this is going to be, like, Grixis Control. And those decks run, like, Thought Erasers and things like that. Thought Erasers, a bunch of counterspells, and Rows. And, like, Nivs. And they are very difficult. Okay, this is Sultai. Okay, it's Sultai Midrange. This is actually fine. There's tapped. Our opponent, unfortunately, is probably going to be able to go into Jadelight Ranger here. And we can definitely grind out with the best of them. We just have to make sure we draw better than our opponent. That's simply because, our boards aren't always equipped to cope with, like, a Vivian Reed or something like that. So we need to make sure that we have a decent board. Interesting choice there, playing the Branchwalker second. Because they could have theoretically gotten a land off the top and played that instead. Maybe they get a shock land. Then they could have played that, since they're probably not going to be using this mana. So we'll go ahead and Chapel. Oh, I mean, Kaya's Wrath is going to be great here. I think what we do is Ministrant. Yeah, I think we Ministrant, and then next time we just Kaya's Wrath our opponent. I think Wildgrowth Walker scales kind of too well. They are going to probably play Midnight Reaper and draw 3 cards. But that should be fine, because we don't really lose much. Because we're still going to have, 2 1/1s in the air. Oh, they're not. Okay, cool. This makes it even better. So let's see if you decide to keep that on top. If they keep it on top, that makes me think... Okay, that makes me think they have other Explore creatures in hand. I do think I'm fine just taking the damage. I go down to 12, and 12 is okay against a Sultai deck that is kind of experiencing land troubles. So I think this is fine, because I want to keep Ministrant so that my Wrath can actually, like, gain me a life, and I'll have 2 creatures left over. So next turn I could play Elenda or like Elenda, this land tapped, or Tithe Taker or Midnight Reaper. Both are decent, reasonable options, but we have to see what their board is going to be. And the fact that they're kind of hurting on lands is a little unfortunate, but my opponent had several chances. They should not have kept the things that they kept on top, in my opinion. I think I prefer to take a little bit of life here in order to play both of these. And of course, I'll go ahead and attack for 2 in the air, because I will need to kill my opponent at some point. But yeah, next turn we can play Elenda. Start growing a life gain lady. Wow, yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate that they're missing out on land drops, but they scryed wrong, in my opinion. So here I'm definitely playing this. Go ahead and attack in the air. The reason I'm doing this first is because I'm gonna need to tap 2 creatures for the Conclave Tribunal anyway. Do I Tribunal now? Yeah, I mean they're so far away from Vivian Reed, but the reason I did that is because I was gonna tap like this, and I'm definitely getting rid of that. So there's still not a reason for me to attack in. I theoretically could have tapped this instead and got in with my Midnight Reaper, but I like the idea better of doing this. I don't know. Maybe that was wrong. If it's a misplay, it's only slight. Okay, so they have something for 4. They needed the green Jadelight Ranger. All right. That'll be helpful for them. I assume they're keeping that on top. Yep. If he attacks, I'm definitely blocking. Because I get to draw a card, make my Elenda bigger. I mean, I pretty much don't lose anything out of this. Ow. Another Tithe Taker. Don't mind if I do. Orzhov Enforcer, pretty decent. Pretty decent. So definitely going to get in the air. I think I'm going to Enforcer because it has Death Touch. I'm greedy. I'm gonna go ahead and play the other Midnight Reaper. Since we have Elenda, hopefully we're gonna be able to outrace our own damage. But I think our opponent's just not really gonna be able to feasibly attack because of my sweet Death Touch. Alright, starting to get some stuff, and I assume they're gonna keep that on top. Because, you know, they can get back their other branch walkers and things like that. Attack me, I dare you. Do it. Do it, coward. Come on! What are you waiting for? You're such a coward. Can I Tithe Taker and still have enough mana? Yeah, if I tap properly. Okay, so I also still have enough mana for Memorial. We're gonna keep on getting in there. Oh, fudge. My opponent might Finality instead. But still, I would draw a large amount of cards, and then I'd have 1, 2, 3, 4 creatures left over. Although, shit, how much would I? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, I think I'm dead. Fudge. I messed up. Oh, my opponent needs another land for Finality. Oh, yes. Vivian? That's incredibly rude. I assume they're just going to plus.
Let's see if you're worthy.
Okay, real talk though. I need to kill one of my Midnight Reapers. Because I would super die if my board gets wiped. So. Oh, okay. Not what I expected. Because now I can just kill Vivian. I don't think I'm going to crack this yet. Because I am scared. Okay, that was a bad draw. I hate you so much. Definitely gonna throw that at his face. do this, this, and this. If this dies, I take 2 and lose 2. And then I would, if they wipe my board, that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, theoretically, I would live. Okay, that's fine. Why'd I put all 3 at the... I missed out on 1 damage. Yes, block, do it, yes! You fool. I definitely messed that up, though. I technically did miss 1 point of damage. If my opponent wins at 1 damage, or 1 life, I should say, I was absolutely in the wrong. Okay, another Tithe Taker. Okay, the problem is I'm at 8, and if my opponent plays the Wrath, I would die if I played anything else, right? 4, 7, yes. So I'm going to play this Plains and then pass the turn. I would love to get an Ethereal Absolution. Teysa would not be good. Yep, I think they're going to cast Finality. Yep, that is fine. I accounted for it, quote-unquote, perfectly. They should keep their Jade Light alive. Yep. I'm going to draw a lot of cards. Okay, good. Wait, what? Oh, I get no life linkers because this is a minus. So last known information is... Wait, what? Why did... Oh, that's theirs. Last known information is that she had no creatures. Attack me. Do it. Do it, you coward. Do it. Do it. Oh, you fool. You utter fool. Gotcha. Oh, wait. Oh, yeah, I have to lose all of my creatures anyway. Oh, no. Yeah. I only lose one of them over here. Oh, man. Okay. That's fine. I didn't want more lands, but I'll take it. I will take a Seraph of the Scales. A Priest. And no, I want to save the Enforcer. I think I'll do this. And I will attack with these 2. Sultai is not known for their haste. Okay. Everything's fine. This is going to be a longer video, but it's fine. Carnage Tyrants. As I said, Priest of Forgotten Gods. It's a pretty helpful card. So we are going to use Priest of Forgotten Gods. We're going to target my opponent. We're going to sack my tokens. Goodbye to Carnage Tyrant. Ooh, Conclave Tribunal. Decent. Well, we have mana, so we're going to go ahead and utilize it. And we're going to go ahead and give her Vigilance. And then watch this animation. Oh, yeah! And then we're going to attack. And try to kill our opponent soonish. Even if they play another Carnage Tyrant, we can go ahead and kill it with Priest of Forgotten Gods. We lose these 2, but who cares? We got rid of a Carnage Tyrant. Where the heck is my music? Alright, cool. I love that you hate me, Arena. Incredibly rude. Incredibly unprofessional. Branchwalker, that will not save you. You should absolutely drop that to the graveyard. You having it fight me? Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, that's fine. Incredibly rude, but fine. It's not unusual to be loved by anyone. Not unusual to have fun. That's incredibly rude. Ooh, baby, a triple. Yeah, I mean, we're playing Teysa. freaking gotums. I can Memorial to Folly something back. I mean, honestly, I guess I get rid of the Death Touch. Oh, right. Target player, submit. As I said, Priest is great for the grind. Of course, my opponent is going to probably sack the Elenda Elf, but who cares when we have Lifelink. Oh, and we get to draw a card too? Oh, so good. As expected. I love that you gave me a freaking land, you piece of trash. What do I want to get? I mean, Seraph of the Scales is probably the best here. Elenda, you know, she's decent, but I think Seraph is probably just the more impactful card. And I can play it now. I want it now. I want the world. I want the whole world. Oh, come on, buds. Drink my suds till you've reached that pure inebriation. Though the beer may be free, I still have cards in play. Alright, I'm going to kill you, opponent. You will perish. And when you do, you will know my name. Do you feel in charge? I am Gotham's Reckoning. I am Arena's Reckoning. Only when you've played your last card do you have my permission to die. Well, that's incredibly rude. Good thing you're dead on board. Okay, so Ethereal Absolution. Oh, I can do both. Get fucked. Just to show that you had no chance. Was that BM? Was that BM? I wanted to play out Ethereal Absolution. And for those who are maybe going to be satisfied by the number of games in this video, I do plan on doing other things with, you know, both Teysa and Ethereal Absolution and Divine Visitation, you know. So you'll see similar style of deck more from me, so. Fret not. Ooh, this is bad. This is a bad hand. Got a mulligan. This is an okay hand, a little slow. But that's what these tests are for. Oh, okay, thanks. It has become less slow. 2, 3, 4. All the mana to cast it. Airbag's a little slow. But that's what these tests are for. This is probably going to be Drake's. My guess when I see a Steam vent early is Drake's. He started from the bottom, now he's here. Yep, that's all but confirming it for me. And that is absolutely a confirmation. We've got Drake's. You're a mean one, Mr. Drake's. We are here. Oh, dude, my favorite part of that fucking song in that movie is, your brain is full of spiders, you got garlic in your soul, Mr. Grinch. I wouldn't touch you with a 35.5 foot pole. Lava coil, F off. You ruddy little wanker. Oh, cool, I don't have to take damage. I don't like that I've been drawing nothing but lands, though. Oh, that freaking animation is so crisp. They're gonna kill my Elenda. Okay. Yeah, I've drawn... Well, I mean, I kept, like, that hand, and I kept this. But... 2 lands in a row. Or was it 3? I can't do basic math. Tormenting Voice. Oh, Phoenix. Alright. Is it Phoenix time? Is it Terror time again? It's terrifying time. I've got 8 dinner. Alright, that was 2. Cool. Ministrant is nice to see. I'm gonna go and attack in there. Play this tapped. Play out the Ministrant. And then next turn, I do have the ability to activate Memorial. But hopefully I get something like Ethereal Absolution, Divine Visitation, you know. One of my nice top-end cards. Just leave Elenda alone. Okay, she is the Dusk Rose, and she deserves your respect as a Orzhov woman. Stop it. Stop. I mean, that's one of the main problems with this deck right now is, in the metagame, Lava Coil is kind of the removal of choice for any deck that runs red. That's unfortunate. But, I mean, it does kind of prey on this deck since we do have dice triggers. No! Stop! And they're going to get their Drakes back. Let's see if they have their Phoenix. Let's see if they have another Phoenix. Nope. Cool. Just one Phoenix. That's fine. I can probably race that. 14... 15. I probably can't race that. Alright, so we're going to play another Ministrant. Because my opponent is incredibly rude. Go back up to 19. So I'm functionally... We're both doing 2 damage to each other. Because I gain 1 from my Vampire. Stop exiling my stuff, please. Stop targeting my bros. Crackling Trick. Alright, that's unfortunate, for sure. Ow. Can I draw a Mortify? I'm drawing so many lands. Yeah, the racing statistics are a little bit off now. Yeah, this is unfortunately probably a loss. Against Drakes, you do need pressure and removal, and I had neither because I kept drawing lands. Maybe I kept a bad hand because I had only 2 actual cards, but mulliganing to 5 in that situation just doesn't seem correct. Stop! Stop! They've had 3 of their lava coils. In the top, what is that? 20%? 30%? You got another spell? Do you have another spell? Didn't even give me the courtesy of killing me on this turn. Ow. It is very unlikely that I can come back from this. I played against Drakes in practice and I beat them, but didn't draw that many lands. I'm giving it another game. We're only at 33. I think the cutoff for people actually liking longer videos is like 45 minutes. Once I go past that, the analytics show that people definitely don't like it as much. They don't engage with it as much, right? So super long, like hour-long videos tend to get, I think, like only 80-ish% of like my other videos. It's kind of fortunate. This is a good hand, thank you. Got plenty of lands, got all the colors I need. This is what I wanted. I prefer this to be something else because she is a lot better during the mid section of the game. But having access to Mortify early, pretty helpful. Water Grave. I didn't ask you for this land. Please F off. I want to draw. I have 4 mana that can cast the majority of things in my deck. Like literally only 4 cards I can't cast with it. Don't give me those lands until fudge. Fuck off. Why are you playing Grixis Control in unranked? Oh, okay. I mean, that's fine, I guess. Luckily, I have the ability to disinformation campaign them. Or mortify their disinformation campaign. And their counterspells are going to be a little bit taxed since thanks to the Tithe Taker. But gosh dang, do I utterly hate discard against jank decks. Alright, my opponent is, I guess, holding up counterspell or something. I've been drawing nothing but Lanza. So, I don't know what to tell you, man. I'm not going to deploy any more threats. That's rude. But it's fine, because I still have a card. I'm okay with that. Oh, look, it's a campaign. Go ahead and discard this Godless Shrine. No, blow it the hell up. Okay, so my opponent seems to be stuck on lands. Yes. So if I could stop drawing lands, please. That'd be wonderful. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4. I've drawn 5 real cards at this point. And 7 lands. Why do you hate me, game? I mean, I think that's like statistically normal. I'm lucky that my opponent is stuck on lands, but they're not going to be stuck on lands forever. I need, like, any of my threats, please. Oh, sure. I assume they'll get rid of Tribunal? Yeah. Oh. So I did have this deck at 23... I probably should have played that. I did have this deck at 23 lands for a time, but I upped it because I kept getting mana screwed. Oh, Costly Plunder. Yeah, that's helpful at this point in the game. I hate you so much, deck. I had meetings today. I didn't have time to play this. I mean, I guess I'll get rid of Costly Plunder. And just Kaya's Wrath. Oh, cool, creature. I'm so glad. I'm so glad. F off. Play out my creature. Poke them to death. Now that they have 5 mana, they can probably play everything in their hand. I hate you. I hate you, and I want you to die. Not you, Brightsteel. My own deck. Oh, thanks. Orzhov Enforcer is so good. So nice. So nice to see. It's so great. I can't wait for my opponent to play a land this turn, and then get back Bolas, and then play a land on that turn, and then flip Bolas immediately. I can't wait. I can't wait. It's great. No, I didn't need real cards. I didn't need real cards to play. It's fine. It's fine. Oh, look at that Steam Fence. I wonder if they're gonna get Bolas back, and then immediately. Oh, Golden Muzz. Yeah, that's fine. It's not like there's a better card in Standard right now that does the same thing. You're not running creatures yourself. And I draw another land. Why aren't you playing Cry of the Carnarium? Ah. I'm sorry about that. I lost my cool. If they flip this Bolas, I'm done with this. I drew so many lands, and my opponent made me discard so many times. Why? We're gonna try another one, okay? I need to give you guys a good game. It's not good enough. I hope this is not mono red. I mean, come on. I mean, I have a 3 and a 4, but I don't have a 1 and a 2, so if this is mono red, I'm probably just dead. Fudge. Fudge, fudge. I mean, we're going first, so it's less bad. Okay, they mulliganed at least. They mulliganed twice. Please don't leave. Please don't leave. If they see a Godless Shrine, maybe they're thinking, oh, it's Mardu. Get this crap out of it. Okay, the blue-green. We got the Divine Visitation. You know, so we have 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, I think this is just Sultai +1/+1 counters. I'm fine with that land, because we have actual cards to use it on. Right now, we can get up to Divine Visitation. I assume by the time we have access to this, we'll be able to play it. No! What? I had an actual good hand. I had plays to make. Why do you hate me? Why? Oh, I'm so sad. I mean, as I said, I'll be playing similar decks in La Futura. I'm a broken man. I'm a broken man at this point. I'm gonna really quickly go over the sideboard options, the things that I chose not to run in this deck, just because, you know, I want to still have that information, and we're still before 45 minutes, so. We took out Hunted Witness and Gutterbones from the deck because we found that even though they are 1-drops, they still don't apply enough pressure for their card cost. So since we would want to have a decent amount of them just to make sure we have some sort of guarantee that we're going to be playing those 1-drops, it costs us between 4 and 8 slots, and I just wanted to play other more individually valuable cards, so that's why I took those out. Duress is, so in this discussion there's going to be a little bit of actual sideboard options and then why I didn't include stuff. So Duress is one of those sideboard options. It's something that you can that helps you out against control decks that make you discard a lot. Hero Precinct 1, you look at it at first and maybe say that this is great in this specific deck because, you know, we are running the Orzhov girls, we have a bit of dual colored removal and Ethereal Absolution, but overall the percentage of this deck doesn't skew enough towards multicolored cards, so that's not going to be played in this deck. I will be playing a deck that does center a little bit more around Hero Precinct 1. I think there's like a Mardu style deck that uses it, so Tecatli Honor Guard is definitely an option for your sideboard because of the fact that our cards don't have ETBs. They have they don't have enter the battlefield abilities, they have exit the battlefield abilities. And this is helpful against a variety of decks right now. Tecatli Honor Guard right now isn't being played too much, and because of that, a lot of people aren't necessarily prepared for it. So Honor Guard is definitely helpful in certain scenarios, especially against the Golgari Explore package. Reassembling Skeletons we took out of the deck because technically we just had better options at this point. Being able to utilize Tithe Taker and Priest of Forgotten Gods was a little bit better than having to spend so much mana getting Skeleton back. Consecrate Consume is an option. You know, it does cycle itself, and Consume can be helpful against specifically things like Carnage Tyrant, but because we have access to Priest already, for the most part, we don't actually need this. Pitiless Pontiff, as I said a little bit in the deck tech, is a different Priest of Forgotten Gods. I'm not going to say it's necessarily worse. They do different things, right? If you want to sacrifice things, Pitiless Pontiff is a little bit better because it just has a mana cost. But if you want more value, Priest of Forgotten Gods is definitely a lot better. We have Revival and Revenge. You could maybe make an argument for putting this in the sideboard because it's, you know, the Revenge portion isn't terrible, and the Revival portion can get you back a decent amount of your cards, right? It's what, 16? But I found that it didn't just make enough main deck sense because we do have so many 4s and so many not other card costs, right? So Glass of Guild Pact, this is a card that I did consider since our tokens are all going to be multicolored, but I think that this shines in a more centralized deck. So similar to the Hero Precinct run, I'll be making probably a separate deck that takes advantage of Glass of the Guild Pact. I have a lot of decks that I want to play. Cry the Carnarium. If you are struggling against super wide aggro decks and you've already been blocking a bunch of the creatures, Cry you could play. I would say that Golden Demise is probably better in this deck because it doesn't exile your stuff, so you still get die triggers, but either of those are potentially helpful if your opponent is super wide and super aggro. Drill Bit is a consideration for the sideboard. I don't like it as much as Duress, because typically what you want to be getting with Duress are non-creatures anyway. That said, you can relatively easily get the Spectacle to trigger because of the fact that we do have annoying creatures like Orzhov Enforcer, and we have plenty of flying thanks to our Afterlife tokens. But this is definitely a kind of dependent card. I'm not sure between this and Duress. I would say that you do kind of want a decent number of discard effects in the sideboard, so maybe you play 2 and 2 or 2 and 1, 3 and 1, something like that. But Playcrafter we took out because we now have access to Priest of Forgotten Gods, which does a similar thing. And we just needed the room for Midnight Reaper because gaining advantage is a little better, especially right now, since there are a lot of, you know, Llanowar Elves and super wide decks going around. So the individual sacrifice is not as strong when you have to sacrifice as well. Profane Procession is a decent card against other mid-range decks. Being able to just exile a creature and then get them back is nice, but I found that it is just slightly too slow, and our deck has a decent-ish time against mid-range anyway. And then, of course, Ixalan's Binding. You could have this in the sideboard. You could have this in the main board instead of Conclave Tribunal. It's helpful. I would definitely suggest having at least 4 copies of these enchantment-based removals between the 75, because you definitely want to be able to deal with enchantment threats, artifact threats, and planeswalker threats. So having access to Ixalan's Binding is very nice, especially against those planeswalkers. So this was a long one that was kind of unsatisfying. I do think this deck is decent. Maybe I should only be running 23 lands, and in place of that 24th land, I have more card draw. Not sure. It's always unsatisfying when practice goes better than the actual games, but I think we won one real match, and then the forfeit, of course. But oh well. I would like to thank my lovely patrons, especially Salamander and Zaraga, for their continued support. If you'd like to join them in supporting the channel, you'll find links to that down in the description below, along with links to my Discord channel and my Ethereal account. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, go ahead and tap that like button, add a subscription to Manapool, and cast a comment to the comment section down below. I'm going to go ahead and put this to upload and go eat dinner. Until next time, all will be one.